WCLN 1170 Radio and Cable Channel 16 are pleased to present We Should Know, hosted by J.W. Simmons, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative as we consider closely what we should know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on there. I'm J.W. Simmons, your host. We're coming to you today from Star Communications TV, Channel 16, also simulcast on WCLN Radio. Our guests are two ladies today, Miss Tyler Wise and also Mary Rose. Now, we all know the name of Mary Rose in Clinton and throughout the state, but Tyler, I'm going to kind of segue to you to start with. You're part of a organization is refers to as Lead for NC. You're a fellow. You work in the town of Roseboro. This is your second year in, I believe. I was interested in your background, particularly in the area. You graduated from the University of Charlotte, Queen's University of Charlotte. And you studied multimedia storytelling and with a concentration in journalism and political science. I just cannot wrap my head around how all important each one of those things are. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Mary Rose, there's nothing I could say or an introduction to you. You'd be better off introducing me because people know you all over everywhere, but you're planning and zoning director here in Clinton. You've been president of the downtown development for the state of North Carolina. You've rallied a lot of things in the city of Clinton to the downtown area. You're known as being able to collect whatever you can to make things grow in Clinton. So thank you for what you do and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Again, I want to kind of start off in a big way this morning, but one of the things that I read was an interesting article, but it kind of places the landscape of North Carolina and to some degree the country in the sense that if we look at small towns, they are what makes up the whole totality of this country and particularly this state. Sometimes we overlook that. And I'll start with you, Mary Rose. Why do we overlook that?
Well, if you lean towards the more negative side of things, people tend to probably say, well, the money, the power are focused in the larger cities, which there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, the cities have more money and resources oftentimes. The passion, though, and the heart and the hardworking people of the rural areas, we can stand toe-to-toe. I've often said when I've served on the North Carolina Downtown Development Association Board of Directors, which I am the VP of membership now, oftentimes I serve on that board with the downtown director from Raleigh, from Chapel Hill, from Charlotte, and I sit from little old Clinton. I sit right beside them, but I go toe-to-toe with them. I've held, positions in the organization, and we should all do that. We should be proudly representing whatever we are, wherever we are. Tyler and I have been participating in a rural capacity program through the Department of Commerce, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well. And during that program focuses on educating small towns about the resources that are available right now for them, and it connects us. She and I went down to a small town called Sandyfield recently in Columbus County. Nicest people you'll ever want to meet. We went to their community day. They are participating in this program, and probably the smallest town actually in the program. Clinton's probably might be the largest. But just meeting them and understanding JW, they have the same passion there that I have for Clinton that a director in the Raleigh Downtown Alliance has for downtown Raleigh. So I think there's just varying levels, but you're going to find smart, passionate people wherever you go. And that's what it takes.
Tyler, I want to kind of segue to you and following that thread that Mary Rose put out. You graduated from a university in Charlotte, North Carolina, which Charlotte is recognized as a large city throughout the country. When you end up in a place like Roseboro and you see what's going on and you've been there long enough to kind of get a feel, Roseboro started growing a lot of different interesting things happening over there. How do you kind of bring that with your background and understanding to help Roseboro kind of stand up and say, look at us?
I think working on the communication gap, sometimes we have residents that don't know of the events that are occurring. So we recently started the concert series. And so if we only use Facebook, well, what about the residents that don't use Facebook? And so you find those different avenues to communicate with different folks. We can't just take one platform and think it's going to get to everybody in Roseboro or everybody in Sampson County, rather. So I would say the communication gap is there. I think if you look at Charlotte, everybody's promoting everything. There's always something to do. You're never going to miss anything. There's always something occurring in the park, or there's something uptown. And so I think we have to find avenues to support entrepreneurs so that they will come here. And you have to take care of downtown so that it will explode like Clinton is currently experiencing.
When you, Tyler, I want to follow that thought a minute. When you look at a place like Roseboro, and it's a wonderful town, location, you couldn't ask better. I mean, it's right there. We were talking about off air, the proximity to Fayetteville and the huge number of people that's there. How do you develop that personality of attractiveness that maybe brings people there, or folks even to look at it and go, I think I want to go, number one, to that event, or I'd like to go, just kind of go sense what the flavor is of that town. How do you develop that, and what kind of story do you come up with to get people to kind of look at Roseboro?
I think it's like you talked about earlier, like not everyone wants to always be in downtown Fayetteville. And so you push, this is an intimate event, like this is gonna be small, but it's gonna be nice. Coming from Columbia, South Carolina, I've tasted things at the Railroad restaurant I've never heard of. Like they do this pineapple thing with crackers. And so you push this thing that people have never eaten. You really push that rural lifestyle. Like I didn't understand the love for country ham until I got here. And so just various things like what is picture worthy and what can be viral that really pushes that small town feel for someone to where they're willing to travel this way.
It's something that's almost a little different. We've got something a little different that you need to check out. Yeah.
How hard is it, Mary Rose, to find that nugget of difference? I mean, we look at kind of echo chambers now that people get called in. In those nuggets of difference important to us to be able to at least hear or see?
I think we've got to get people here. I ran into two couples on the street in downtown Clinton the other day as I was walking along Main Street. And I typically greet people and say hello, welcome to Clinton, glad you're milling around. Branding is another thing that helps you get your story told. And one was from Merle's Inlet, the other was from Charlotte. And the couple from Merle's Inlet, the lady was originally from Clinton, and her Charlotte friend said they had a hard time getting us to come to Clinton because we were thinking, what in the world are we going to do? But they spent 3 nights, I believe, at the Ashford Inn. They enjoyed themselves here in Clinton and could not say enough. I saw them eating dinner outside at Alfredo's a few hours later and just continued to rave about how clean downtown was, how decorated it was, how it was reminiscent of a Hallmark movie. People are, sometimes, JW, they have to experience it before they believe that it's someplace they can enjoy. And that's our job, to make sure that we're using all the communication travels we can. We will be advertising a full-page ad in our state magazine in their December issue. And that ad is all about Christmas in the city, because we want to play to the fact that you can come to downtown Clinton and have that Hallmark Christmas, small town experience. And that is going to be the issue of our state that goes from the triangle to the coast. So we're trying to get those folks here. We're also developing a small travel package in partnership with the Ashford Inn for that ad as well. Get them to come and stay in our bed and breakfast and shop local and participate in the festivities. So it takes a lot of effort, but there's a lot of things that go into that effort. And Roseboro has done an excellent job with their branding, Bloomfest as an example, and that's something I'm sure you'll want to hear more about from Tyler. So.
Absolutely. And Tyler, I want to get into that. We got about 2 minutes. We're going to come up with a break here, but the thing that strikes me is where we went with this conversation is that these uniquenesses become particularly important because not only do you get to tell the story of Roseboro and kind of what the people in Roseboro do and are, you kind of make it attractive. You kind of make it, well, this is why you need to come here. And one of those things I know you guys have done recently is some kind of trail over there that I'm sure you were kind of involved in.
Yeah, we are part of the Mountain to Sea Trail. So we took it upon ourselves to also create a loop, because for the state of North Carolina, 2023 is being recognized as the year of the trail. And so it's pushing people to get outdoors, to take a hike and to do things of that nature. So we created a little over a mile loop that takes you through sites like the Cone Silo that is of great significance to the area, of homes listed on the National Register. And so you get to see those things, but you're also walking, and that's the goal, is get out and walk for this year.
And you're not only tying the community in that in Roseboro, but actually the physicality of everyone needs to think about their exercise, their physical abilities, and those kinds of things. So it fits a broad spectrum of folks in that area, and for folks that want to look at Roseboro as a place to visit.
Yeah.
What is that one thing, and we got a minute here, but what is that one thing that comes to mind that tends to attract people? Is it the one thing, or is it the multiple things that do that?
It's the multiple things. I think, you can't attract people to a downtown that only has one business. And that is a struggle in the small towns, is we're working to develop a good mix. Roseboro has been very successful with Railroad Steakhouse, Earl and Jerry's. We have been successful with Alfredo's, and now with the tap room coming and bringing another restaurant. Food is important, but you also have to have your retail. You just have to have a very good mix to attract people. So.
What is unique? When I hear the word uniqueness, I got about 15 seconds here. The word unique always comes up. Touch on that right quick, and we can follow it from the break.
In traveling around the state, what I'm hearing most people say is they like to see a clean, neat place where the people, the citizens, tend to focus on those things. Yeah.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're talking about Roseboro and Clinton downtown development. If you want to hear the rest of the show.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
You're out for an evening on the town. Finally a chance to relax and forget that you left your front door completely unlocked. Fortunately, you just installed a security system from Star Communications. With just your cell phone, you can check on your house, lock it down, light it up, and get back to relaxing.
You forgot to put Buster in his crate.
Unfortunately, we can't help with that. Security and automation from Star Communications. Call today to find out more.
Most aging adults want to stay in their homes as long as possible. And as your loved ones get older, you want to support them, even when you can't be there. Star is proud to offer Star Alert. This new system is now mobile and has GPS compatibility, so your loved ones can live their lives and you can have peace of mind, knowing they can get the help they need with just the simple push of a button. The new Star Alert also offers automatic fall detection, so help will be alerted even if they can't press the button. Call and ask about Star Alert today.
Welcome back, folks. We Should Know is on there. Again, my name is J.W. Simmons. Thank you for being with us. We're talking about downtown events, particularly in Roseboro, North Carolina, and Clinton, North Carolina. And the folks that are with us today is Tyler Wise. And Tyler, you've been in Roseboro for a couple of years now, working with them to kind of bring should I say, the sunshine so everybody will see the beauty of Roseboro. And Mary Rose, you're kind of an icon across the state and been doing this for quite some time, including being the president of the downtown development for North Carolina. And so this is an interesting mix of conversation, but we went off break, and we were talking about that idea of uniqueness and the plurality of uniqueness. It's not the one thing, it's the multiple things. I want you to finish your thought on that as we were going to break.
Yes, JW, I was talking about people noticing how clean and neat Clinton was, but I wanted to extend it on to what people notice is that the citizens of Clinton, the leaders of Clinton, the employees of Clinton care about their community. And what I mean is in the Main Street approach, I've spoken about that for years. 4 Point, North Carolina Main Street approach is a national approach. You've got to look good. So you've got a design committee working. You've got to promote yourself. We've already talked about promotion and communication. That's our promotion committee. You've got an organization committee, which is our nonprofit arm, and our city council who gives us the resources we need. And then you've got the economic vitality piece, which is incentives to attract people here to invest here. So you've got all those pieces working together. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as you travel around the state and you look in different towns, you know the towns you drive through, and you can tell there is somebody doing something good here behind the scenes. This just did not happen. It takes a village, it truly does, of people working together. You can see it downtown right now as people drive through and see the beautiful fall decorations and the corn stalks on the light post and the pumpkins. It makes you want a cup of pumpkin spice latte from Simply NC in downtown Clinton. It makes you want to get out and mill around. And then we've installed the speakers that play music onto our sidewalks. We have the public art. This doesn't just happen, JW. There's a plan, there's a strategy, and we're working on that strategy every day. And what Tyler and being a Lead for NC Fellow and bringing that to Roseboro, it offers Roseboro the same ability for having a young person like Tyler come in and focus and work to develop that same strategy. And they are a small town Main Street community, so they're using the Main Street strategy just as Clinton is. And I'm so proud that we have 2 Main Streets so close together within Sampson County, and we work well together. Yeah. So
I want to go with you because Mary Rose just mentioned something that I was going to introduce, but she just did a great job in segueing it. And that's the idea of age and young people. I mean, it don't take a camera close-up to recognize that I'm not the young person in the room today. Yeah. So how do you attract that younger person that may be looking for something with a bit more speed or vitality or that's something that is unique or different? From where you are and from your background, and plus as a young person, how do you tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, look at what Roseboro's doing here. Hey, look at what we got that is different. Because sometimes, Mary Rose, I think we've talked about this in the past, small towns can get into a little rhythm and it becomes status quo and
that's dangerous.
Yeah, and I want to kind of get a feel from you, Tyler. Is that something that you have trouble breaking that glass and saying, here's a new possibility?
I would say no. I think all of my ideas have been welcoming. I think that you have to invite that young person in. And so we talk about these awesome volunteers like Kay Rayner, but she needs somebody to mentor, somebody that's going to eventually take her spot. And so if you invite young people in early, they are increasing events and things of that nature. They're going to suggest things that their age group is gonna come to. They're not gonna think of events that for their grandparents. They're gonna think of events for their friend group. And so I think you have to have an age difference within your volunteers. That does the job.
You have to listen and learn from each other.
Correct.
And
yeah. I would say welcoming them into the meetings and also listening. Listening is a big portion, but also make some of those visions come to life. Don't just hear me. Like, let's plan one of the events I suggested. And if it doesn't do so well, that's fine. At least we did it and I felt heard because I'm willing to come back after that. Because I've been heard. We tried my strategy. Yeah. It didn't work. Yeah. Let's move on to something else. But I think that's the biggest thing is how can our awesome volunteers like Kay Rayner mentor the next group that will be accountable for downtown Clinton or downtown Roseboro and things of that nature.
I think what we're talking about here is sometimes framed with words such as this: status quo, glass ceiling, not here. That's not the way we do things. Are we really saying, look, we kind of need to shake it up a little bit because, we want to hold on to the richness of our history, but at the same time, we got to shake it up. And how hard is it to convince folks in leadership that we can do that without breaking the glass?
JW, there's a book that's just come out, and I hope I get the author right. If the person listening, I think it's Ben Muldrow with Arnett Muldrow, and the book is Your City is Sick, or Our City is Sick, and it's got a picture of a heart on the front of it. Cities can get sick, and that's the danger of being status quo. You have to be, of any organization, you have to be constantly moving, constantly listening, constantly being aware of, the resources that you can tap into. It's not just grants all the time. It's not just money, money, money. People, that human infrastructure too, committee members, the Kay Rayners of the world and the Debbie Roberts, who are well known in Clinton for their passion. They are getting a little older. The Mary Roses are, I've been working now for the city in January will be 30 years. So my time is waning, and there needs to be that next generation. And so we need to be actively engaging different people and personalities. Doesn't need to be status quo. We need change is a good thing sometimes. I've had to learn that myself. Sometimes the committees might want to do things, and I've been a little hesitant, but I try to explain to them it's because the creative piece is very important, but the logistical piece is just as important. The safety piece, the money, we got to have money, so it's fun to have ideas, but how are you going to help me make that idea come to fruition? How are we going to work together to make it happen? And it takes people. So, and I know Roseboro is working through that now, is how do we get more of our citizens engaged in the process of this thing called Main Street. So you have some engagement meetings coming up, or you have had.
We have started updating our strategic plan. So what is the vision for downtown? What is the vision for Roseboro? And so you get a room full of various stakeholders. So you want the educators in because they understand the needs of the kids. You get the elderly involved because they understand the history of the town. And so you get various people in a room to kind of work on a cohesive plan that may take a couple years, but at least we kind of have it in writing. Because we can't be, as a Main Street, you don't want to just say we throw events. Like, we also want to invest in the businesses that we have here. And so North Carolina is also a part of the Grow with Google initiative that is currently taking place. And so you have a representative in Wilson, North Carolina, that is for the state, and she helps entrepreneurs navigate the Google world and how they can increase their businesses on there. And we actually have her visiting Sampson County. So she will be in Roseboro October 17th for a day full of sessions. And then October 18th, she will offer one-on-one sessions for the business owners.
Do you feel like you get the participation and support in those kinds of meetings and things that you do? And are you getting a cross segment of the community to support some of the things that you've brought to Roseboro?
I think I do, but I think that there's always room for growth. Like, I always want to see, we had a ribbon cutting, was it almost been 2 weeks? But we've had a ribbon cutting and the room was full, like town hall was packed. Wow. I want that for everything. Yeah. That's the goal for everything I do. And so I don't feel like we're done yet. So
do you have pause at times and think, am I hearing everyone? Is there, when you look out at the audience, do you see somebody that you think, well, they had something to say? Because, we communicate so much without words. And I'm just wondering, do you see that and think, maybe I need to go speak to that person or that group of people?
Yeah, I try to meet with our small town Main Street volunteers separately often. So if they did forget something or they felt that wasn't the space to share, I think we cover that in conversations. And so at least we're working, if it's about an event or about something that we would like to propose. I think we're all given the opportunity to talk about it.
One of the things that I'd like to get into, and we can do this after the break here, is the dynamic of change. And Mary Rose, you've seen a lot of change in the city of Clinton, excuse me, over the past years or decades, as you just pointed out. And how we engage that change, how we magnify it, how we process it. And sometimes I think, Tyler, is that I look at change as we don't necessarily have to accept all of it. We can still hold on to our traditional ways, but at the same time, we have to appreciate that certain things is inevitable. And we can talk about that when we come back, but I want to include in this conversation the whole world of technology. And you mentioned Facebook, and we'll talk about TikTok, and we'll talk about AI and what that may or may not mean. And is there a stream there of technology that we either have to be involved in, or we literally get left on the riverbank and nobody knows we're there? So if that's good with you, that's what we're going to play coming back. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We've got a lot of exciting things to talk about downtown development, and two folks who knows a lot about that here in Roseboro and one in Clinton. We'll be back in a moment.
If you run a business, you need sales. To get sales, you need customers. To get customers, you need exposure. Let our team of experts craft and produce the perfect video ad to reach your intended audience while making the most of your advertising dollars. Call 1-800-706-6538 or visit starcom.net to contact our Star Communications production team and get your business moving to the next level.
Just because something may work doesn't mean it's right for your business. Let Star Communications' knowledgeable consultants help you customize a hosted voice system that's right for you. Our dedicated experts work with you to understand your business needs and guide you at every step, from choosing and installing services to ongoing maintenance and support. Contact Star today.
105.7. 105.7. Tuning into Christian 105.7 is tuning in to a space of hope, encouragement, answers, and love. With the magic of radio or the convenience of the internet, Christian 105.7 is focused on sharing the universal truth and light of Christ with a local touch that creates that special feeling of community. More than just another broadcast station, we're your neighbors. Christian 105.7. What faith sounds like.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We Should Know is on there. J.W. Simmons here, your host. We're talking with Tyler Wise, who is with the town of Roseboro. She is a lead for NC Fellow, graduated from Queen's University in Charlotte. Interesting background in multimedia, storytelling, concentration in journalism and political science. And Mary Rose, who has literally lived the life in Clinton, North Carolina, and throughout the state of North Carolina as a lead in a lot of opportunities with the Downtown Development Committee. And I just want to kind of move this part today to kind of get more into that idea of the status quo that we kind of were talking about and talking around. And I also want to talk about the technology piece. So when we talk about status quo, Mary Rose, I want to just kind of open with you on this subject. It's important to hold on to our values and our history, but status quo sometimes comes along with that phrase, well, we don't do it that way here,
right,
or we ain't going to play that tune, or we're not going to do that event. Let's open it with that conversation.
I think you have to be open in this day and age. As I mentioned during the break, businesses don't have time for us to wait. We need to try new things, different events, different activities, different ways of communicating, different people. Stephanie Graham was on the show with me and Joyce Owen, another small business owner, a few months ago. And Stephanie brought the idea to me of a Juneteenth event. Well, some people might be like, well, are we ready for that in our small Southern conservative? But, it was amazing. And what we've got to realize is change is not a bad thing. Education and communication and change are my 3 key words. Is, we've just got to keep things moving, and we've got to work together. If we stay siloed, which you'll hear that term with the folks in agriculture, but when we stay in our silos, we do not accomplish near as much as we can do when we work together. And that's why when I saw Tyler and I saw she was participating in RC2 and I said, let's ride together. And she and I have been to Sandyfield. We're going to Florence, South Carolina to meet with their Main Street director in a few weeks to learn more. But she spoke at the North Carolina Main Street Conference, and we both enjoyed hearing about what they're accomplishing there. Florence, South Carolina isn't just I-95 and Buc-ee's. Florence, South Carolina has a downtown and a Main Street program. And so we are working together to educate ourselves and others about what strategies do we need to bring here to this community that involve change, changing the status quo, engaging more people to be involved. Don't be afraid. If you see Kay Rayner downtown, ask her if you can help her, put some corn stalks out or pumpkins, because we've got to engage more people in what we do and understanding. Recently, Simply NC changed ownership downtown. The owner, Deborah Thompson, created that business and did a fabulous job. We'd never had a coffee shop. And she grew that business into a wonderful, successful business. Well, now, Remedy by Jess, owner, and the Ashford Inn owners, Wally and Jess Bachelor, they have gone out on somewhat of a limb and purchased it, but they've made a lot of changes, JW. You talk about technology. They've utilized technology. They're utilizing changes in the way people think. They are opening at 6:30 in the morning. With a coffee shop, you have to open early. If you wait and open at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and some people say, well, I can't find anybody that wants to work. Well, you're going to have to. And they've got a great team of employees down there. They're young, they're enthusiastic, and we need that. I have seen people since they have owned that business now the past few weeks that I have never seen before. And I'm in that coffee shop fairly often. Tyler knows I love a dirty chai. So it is encouraging to me to see change, to see this one business owner who we have valued and appreciate so much ease into a retirement and transition in the ownership to a younger who's going to change it up a little bit, but really take it to the next level. And technology helps us do that. We can't be afraid of technology. Mary Rose is not a fan of QR codes, but I'm going to have to learn how to get a QR code on our special event posters, because some people love QR codes. So am I getting all that?
No, you hit it, yeah.
So when you look at it, and again, I think it's a wonderful discussion because we're looking at, obviously age differences here, but when you look at that, there's a element that we have to do with technology. What are those things, Tyler, that you look at when you find yourself in Roseboro? You look around, you see some of the great things that's going on. At the same time, you see things that, how do I message that? How do you message it on social media platforms, on certain Facebook pages, on certain dynamics that maybe folks in my age bracket would go, well, I didn't see it on TV or what have you, so it's not there. How do you say, look, guys, we got to do it this way to get from here to there?
I don't think it's one way. So I think this month we have tried to do things a little differently. With the concert series we were only utilizing Facebook. That was our only outlet. And a lot of people would come the day after and say, I heard nothing about this. I didn't know this thing existed. I didn't know this was a thing. And so the mayor had a great idea to create a save the date for every individual that came in to pay their water bill. And so whenever you paid your water bill, you got to save the date in return, And so that kind of built the momentum. And we also have the Department of Aging has a senior center at Charles E. Perry, and so taking flyers down there because they're involved in their communities, because they're involved in their churches, and so that's a different group. So it's no one way. Yeah, you gotta.
Do you find it's hard to get folks to budgetarily, as Mary Rose looked at it, and say, we got to spend some money on this to get the results we're looking for, and it might be a bit over budget, or I'm going to spend this, as you mentioned, this $5,000 here, as opposed to holding on to it. We might need it in the spring. How do you kind of juggle
Not
that?
our team. I think it's because I'm a shopper, so I'm like, let's just buy it. Let's get it. And so I think I fight for it, but I also go out and get the businesses to support. And if we're bringing people to downtown, the businesses win. And so they're already on board. So that's not really a hard thing. I think some of our team, yes, you're having to get around to we don't have to save for that rainy day all the time. Let's just spend. Let's just spend to create the experience. Because the experience will bring more people.
Exactly. Invest. Take the risk to get the reward,
Mary Rose, you've talked a lot about this idea of the collective of it's not just Clinton, it's Roseboro, Garland, Newton Grove, Altreville. Don't let me miss anything here. But a lot of small towns just in this county. But then when I look in Bladen County, we've got that same kind of setup. And we've recently done some shows down in Bladen County that have unbelievable uniquenesses. They're just these great little venues that are sweet spots. How do we bring all of those together to package it and highlight it in a collective way rather than an individual way? And I know you have thought about this a lot.
Yeah, so economic development has always said regional. We've got to work together. I attend church in Bladenboro. If you've not been to Bladenboro recently, they are investing. There is a considerable amount of investment that's going on in their small town of Bladenboro. You'll see investment going on in Whiteville. I was at a meeting yesterday and was informed they're getting an industry they've just announced that's coming with 150 jobs. These are small, rural areas, but Sampson, Duplin, Bladen, Pender, Columbus County, that's our region. So we all need to be learning from each other, working together. Main Street it's the year of the trail, but Main Street is focusing in on this main-to-main concept of, when you go visit Main Street, visit the other main streets in the region, and here's what they are, and here's where they are, and here's what they've got going on, so that's good. But yeah, I'm a very strong believer in building relationships. If I don't know something, I can call Tyler and ask her. And if neither of us, we're going to go to Florence, South Carolina and figure out how they're doing it. But you've got to build those strong relationships, and then you've got to have the trust, and the relationship's got to go both ways. It's not just about Clinton. It's about Clinton, Roseboro, Newton Grove, Harrells, Garland, Turkey. We want Sampson County to be strong. And, we did a campaign a few years ago where we put together a brand, Sampson Strong Together, and I really believe in that. I've shared on the downtown Facebook the Alive in the Borough concert series that they created. It's not just about promoting Clinton. Promote our neighbors. Let's all, what is it they say, a rising tide lifts all ships. That's what we need to start realizing. And we need to, once again, realize there's an urgency here. We need to work together, because as a city employee, JW, I receive a paycheck every 2 weeks. But these business owners, they're not guaranteed anything unless we're helping them be successful, and we need to do that. And there's nothing wrong with recruiting businesses, with recruiting industry, but let's make sure we've got the businesses that are here strong, and we're working together to make that possible. So
can I also add, we are also a part of the Uplift program that through the CVB that deals with tourism. And so we are already in rooms with Pender, Columbus, those counties, having these discussions with the business owners, the CVB boards, all of those groups are also in this program too. And so we get that experience. Like we were able to train with the Smithsonian for festivals and various, so it's happening.
I want to follow up on that regional concept when we come back from this break. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment. We're talking about what's going on in small town USA.
For the ultimate Wi-Fi experience, you need whole home Wi-Fi from Star Communications. Star's whole home Wi-Fi provides ultimate coverage, ultimate performance, and ultimate power all the time. Star's whole home Wi-Fi systems feature the latest Wi-Fi 6 technology and are equipped with unrivaled bandwidth and 4 times more simultaneous connections. So you can connect tons of devices throughout your home with no lag and no downtime. Plus, with 24/7 support and remote troubleshooting, you can rest assured that Star is always there to help you should any issues arise. Star's whole home Wi-Fi also comes with the Command IQ mobile app, putting you in control of your home network and making it easy to set up and connect devices, run network speed tests, pause Wi-Fi, and set parental controls all from the palm of your hand. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience. Contact Star today to get started.
Train for a career in construction trades. At Sampson Community College, you can earn a degree or certification in construction, electrical, heating and air conditioning, welding, as well as other construction trades. Jobs in these fields are in high demand and pay competitive wages. Stop by the college or visit our website for more information.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on there. J.W. Simmons here, your host. I want to thank you for watching us each and every week. We come to you on Star Communications TV, Channel 16, simulcast on WCLN Radio. As always, there's these replays at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, Thursday, uploaded to social media platform to include YouTube. You can also go there and pull up some of the shows we've had. If you happen to miss something a month later, a year later, you can pull it up there as well. And we always enjoy having you and seeing you and you seeing us. And we're talking about some great things happening in this area of the state. As we kind of come on this last part of the show, is this idea of regionalism is so important. And the more I can read and kind of understand, Mary Rose, what you do, and of course, Tyler, what you are doing and have been doing in Roseboro, how do you bring that together with other, because we've got multiple small towns in Sampson, we got multiple small towns in Bladen, Duplin, Scotland, even, small towns in Cumberland County, because most of the time folks see Cumberland County as Fayetteville and Fort Liberty, but at the same time, how do you bring it together? How do you do that with one voice, and how do you do it without stepping on each other's toes?
I think you need me and Mary Rose do van rides. We go a lot of different places together. Yeah. And so I think during those car rides, I'm able to ask her well, what should I do? What would you recommend? What have y'all done when you've seen this issue? Or how would you get funding for this? Or what project should we take on? Or how can I help this business owner? And so I think if we were able to get all of these areas in a room and just say, here's the problems I'm dealing with, and maybe put it on flip charts, and you go around and you write kind of your opinion to the issue. I don't know if that's it'll get the job done, but I think I've learned a lot from Mary Rose just in asking her, this occurred, what should be my response? Or how can I help this business owner? Or how do we deal with vacancy or various issues? And just those conversations. Yeah.
And that's, so to me, it goes back to relationships. We built a relationship. and it's going to carry on for the rest of our life probably. But I always know that I can call her wherever she is, and she always knows she can call me. And that's the same thing. We've got to make the time to build these relationships. When people see us posting pictures of ourselves in all these unique places, I think sometimes they think, well, that's all they do is ride and eat, and you know, but we're there for a purpose. We really are. And we're learning, we're building relationships in this rural capacity program through the Department of Commerce. It's really brilliant. I mean, Pembroke, Sandyfield, Clinton, Roseboro, Rutherfordton. We have Longview. We have built Nash County. We have built relationships with people from all over the state, some in our region, and I have a suspicious feeling we're going to be working together more because of those relationships. But we had to get outside the boundaries of Sampson County to be able to do that. And, you know, I think of right now, what type of coordinated efforts are we working on with Bladen County or with Duplin County or with Pender County? I might be hard pressed for me to think of that, but we need to try to start thinking about that. And maybe getting people in the same room is, you know, a good idea. I've visited Wallace recently, and I met with them, and they've asked questions. Well, Mary Rose, what's Clinton doing? And visited in Bladenboro, and they want me to use some of my knowledge of what we've done here in Clinton to help them. Tabor City, Whiteville, Elizabethtown. So we are maybe not out there all together at one time, but we're definitely out there having discussions, building relationships, and strengthening ourselves by uplifting and strengthening others. And there's that word uplift. I love these words, uplift, rural capacity, you know, building, you know, all these positive things. And I would be remiss, knowing this is the last segment, JW, if I didn't mention that we have our largest annual event, the Square Fair and Barbecue Cook-Off, coming up. And we've added a tagline to the event this year called the Square Fair, A Taste of Our Cultures. And so we are truly trying to break down silos and bring people of all cultures together, because we are a very diverse county with the Hispanic population, our Coharie tribe, which is a treasure. I just spoke to Mr. Greg Jacobs and Cullen Bell one evening this week about the great things they're doing up at the Star telephone property. They took some Campbell University students down the river who from all over the world and exposed them to our county and our river. So we've got that event coming up, spotlighting our diverse citizenry. And then we have Halloween on the Square in downtown Clinton on Halloween. We have Small Business Saturday in November. We're going to do a spin on Brunch and Bows by doing a sweet stroll. Everybody likes their sweet treats at Christmas. And that event is to attract people's attention to our small business and how they can spend their Christmas shopping budget in our communities and invest here and let that money stay here. Then we have Christmas in the City, and the Roseboro is going to have their tree lighting and Christmas event, and it's not going to be on the same night this year. So that's another instance of us working together to acknowledge, double benefit. We can support each other. And Christmas in the City will be 2 nights again, and we are going out on another limb thanks to several generous sponsors. We are bringing a carousel to downtown Clinton December 7th, 8th, and 9th, free to the public. And that is something that is very extravagant. It is very costly. But it is something unique. Now, are we going to be able to do it every year? Probably not. But, you know, we need to take every opportunity we can to make as many of these ideas possible. That was a dream of Debbie Roberts, and she and Kay Rayner went out there, called on several sponsors, and it didn't take many, and we had the money to bring that here. And we've had Scott Mason here, the Tar Heel Traveler, last Christmas. We've had Weekend North Carolina, Seraphim Smith, who's a producer, who did our mural. It is such a multifaceted approach that Main Street has taught and is teaching us about how to accomplish economic development in your community via things called public art and beautification, and via events, but not just events, you know, incentives and projects And public investment always brings private investment, in return. And so downtown, we're working on design for our phase 4 of our downtown revitalization, and that's what we've seen in Clinton. During the past 23 years since our first project, we've done 3, and every time the city has invested public dollars in the infrastructure projects, then the private business and property owners come and invest on the backside of that, and it makes for a beautiful downtown.
Is there a deadline on folks that want to get involved in like the barbecue thing?
So the Square Fair is pretty much, we are already set with 15 barbecue teams and 122 vendors. That is the most vendors we've ever had for the Square Fair. So that's set. There's still an opportunity for folks to register for trunk or treat. Just contact our office at 910-299-4904, the planning department. And then with Christmas in the city is kind of our gift to the community. So it's not a vendor event. It's more of a let's come downtown and just have a festive Hallmark, traditional, fun Christmas. And we have a lot of good
Talk about the barbecue cook-offs. Somebody asked me the other day that if you can participate in that, do you have to cook a whole pig and cut it up, or can you use part of you got to have the whole hog thing?
Yeah, we are sanctioned by the North Carolina Pork Council.
Yeah.
So the winner of our competition, because we're a sanctioned whole hog contest, our winner gets to go to the state cook-off if they choose to. We have judges that are trained through the Pork Council. So this is serious business, this thing called barbecue. Now, we allow our teams to sell their barbecue and keep the money. We allow our teams to cook other things on the grill after the hog has been judged. Mm-hmm. But yes, we are a sanctioned contest.
Tyler, we just walked right into that thing. We're back to cooking and eating. So how does Roseboro play into these kinds of events, and can you segue some of these into Roseboro?
Bloomfest.
Yeah, we have Bloomfest.
Maybe we need to think about it.
Well, we open it up to vendors to crowd downtown, kind of take over the downtown to support those jewelry vendors, various seasonings and sauces and all those things. But we actually have our final 2023 Alive in the Borough concert October 12th, and you are still able to submit applications for the Christmas parade if you want to be an entry for that, which will take place Friday, December 8th. And then our Christmas tree lighting is November 28th. So,
good stuff.
Well, I'm envisioning like a group text that you send out, or you send out to all of these people in multiple counties. Mm-hmm. This is what we're doing, and then folks kind of adjust to it. Because if you attract folks, we're saying we're a region of events that have total uniqueness. I'm thinking about the Grape Stomp over in Rose Hill when they have that.
Festival
it's huge, you know. So these are the kinds of things. Is there something, as we kind of get to our last few seconds here, is there something that you need to put out there? And I'll let you have kind of the last word here.
I think just our recent events is the concert series. We also want a lot of our business owners throughout the county to get involved with the Grow a Google events, because that will help them. Like, if you can be found on Google, that's how people figure out. Like, I always type in places to eat near me. That's like, if you can get your Google stuff together, you'll be awesome.
That date and time again?
And so it'll be October 17th is a full day of sessions open to anyone, free of charge. And then the 18th, you will actually have to sign up for a one-on-one session with Tierra Norwood, our North Carolina representative. So
it's that time of the year again, about 5-10 seconds. I'll let you kind of close out here.
Just let's work together. Let's work together for the benefit of our small businesses, our citizens, and bring exciting things to our communities. And I want to thank Roseboro for being so open to letting Tyler travel with Mary Rose.
Thank you for being with us today and being our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. We'll be posting some numbers for you to look at. And as always, may God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host J.W. Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.